to mention briefly some of the, let's say, celebrities that have actually appeared in the Epstein files. And let's say the part of this that this is not a hoax, but there's are actual emails. The judgment would be to what extent these people were implicated in actual crimes. And again, actual crimes means that they did something illegal. And we need to make a distinction between, okay, they did something illegal, they were caught, they were prosecuted, and they were convicted. And just being a trash person. Because many people are trash people, right? Trash persons, but they are not prosecuted or do anything illegal per se, but they're just trash people. That's when you have to exercise judgment. Do you want to hang out with this kind of people, even if they haven't been convicted of anything? But the problem is that many of these interactions, for example, were from, in this case, George Clooney in multiple Epstein emails. In 2014, Clooney was in Copenhagen, where Epstein appears to visit him. They're saying, "Now I know Copenhagen has interest in girls." All right, Clooney's name appears numerous times in Epstein emails. Once again, all the biggest Trump haters were best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And I have to make it clear again, not because you appear on the Epstein emails, it means that you immediately did something illegal. Again, you could see from the emails between Peter Attia and Jeffrey Epstein that it doesn't look like he did something strictly illegal. Creepy, yes. Disgusting, yes. That it's gonna be very hard for him to recover his reputation, his career, yes, but not exactly illegal. But you can opt to not follow his advice anymore or keep following his advice. It is your decision. But this is how I say, this is not as a clear cut sometimes. Sometimes it is. I mean, maybe you can be right. You can be right if you're immoral in one thing or unethical in one thing, then you say, okay, I don't want to hang out with this person. To be fair, I have to say that I am like that. I mean, I have been like a lone wolf for so long. And I have been really careful. And I've noticed that from all my interactions with famous people and powerful people, I have gained basically nothing. I thank I thank my surgeons to the algorithms of social media and being able to play with those algorithms and do my experiments. But I'm wary that taking a picture with the wrong person or appearing in the wrong emails, appearing in the wrong place, hanging out with tainted people can be costly for your reputation, especially nowadays when people don't go besides a headline. That is very dangerous, and I advise everyone to be very wary who you hang out with. Like Bridget Fetasi says, the entire timeline is people in every industry explaining why they had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein after he was a convicted rapist. We are in hell. Yeah, it's like, you remember this Brian Johnson. He is obsessed with Don't Die and Living Forever. And he is wall of text again. 8 years ago, I met Epstein via Zoom. He said that he didn't have anything to do with him. He was the most dark figure that he had ever met, even if it was a Zoom call. Somebody called out Brian, telling him you were asking to meet him in person, and Brian was clear that, yeah, this was pre-call, like trying to, get off the hook. Did I get that right this time? Get off the hook? All right. But the problem is that you're reaching out to someone who in 2008, I'm not going to repeat, had this conviction for these heinous crimes. So we are back to square one. Why do people kept reaching out to this guy? Why repeatedly? Again, this is not to justify anybody, because people have to know the consequences of their actions. And as Elon Musk has to acknowledge that he wrote an email to Jeffrey Epstein saying, I want to know what day are your wildest parties. Elon Musk said that. Elon Musk has stated, I never went to any party, but he has to acknowledge that he, at some point, was interested in one of the parties. And there was a back and forth with Jeffrey Epstein. He can't deny it. Okay, at some point, I don't know, really don't know if Jeffrey Epstein was maybe not that keen. I wouldn't imagine not being keen on having Elon Musk in your parties. But let's say that Elon Musk got lucky with this one and he didn't go to any physical, place with Jeffrey Epstein, but there were emails. There was an exchange. There was an intention. And Elon Musk 100% knew who Jeffrey Epstein was. That's the thing. Jeffrey Epstein was connected. Jeffrey Epstein knew everyone because that's what he had been doing for decades. Having this gigantic Rolodex of billionaires, of investors, of academics, of researchers, politicians in every single place, especially in high places, and making sure that everybody got what they wanted. So I guess that you need to be accountable for your actions. That is the morale of the story. As Angie G is asking Brian Johnson, why didn't you say this before any time in the last 8 years? Seems like damage control. Why is Brian Johnson releasing a wall of text now after he appeared on this batch of the Epstein files? That's the problem. That's what destroys anyone's credibility. Not destroys, but at least, let's say, shaves off 50% of your credibility, which is a non-negligible amount. I'm just making a percentage from, out of thin air. But you can imagine that if somebody had any contact with Jeffrey Epstein and said nothing until it was found that they had any contact with Jeffrey Epstein in the first place, it doesn't look good. As you see that there's just rumors about the Jeffrey Epstein, the files are going to be exposed, not going to be exposed, they're going to be released, not going to be released, and you know that you have these email exchanges, better not wait until that happens and come forward and go for it and say whatever was happening. It would be very different if nobody's talking about Jeffrey Epstein and all of a sudden it is released. Okay, maybe you should have said about that, but if everybody forgets about the topic, if everybody moves on with their lives, that's one thing. But if there's no way that Brian Johnson could have avoided the fact that people were talking about Jeffrey Epstein more and more, especially in the past couple of years. That was a fact. It was impossible to avoid that conversation. So, especially in the past year. So yeah, it's something that now you have to fire your public relations advisor. As more things, here's the founder of an adoption charity asking Epstein if he needed any new steaks for his island because he only had 2 left. I will be sending fresh muffins down with Karina. You currently have 2 steaks left on the island. Would you like new ones? Oh my God. You know that all this Pizzagate conspiracy of all this, it's not a conspiracy anymore. We've seen that they were actually talking about pizza. They were talking about melted cheese. We're talking about hot dogs. I'm not going to elaborate. Maybe I could look for a dictionary of terms. But yeah, it was horrific what was going on with these people that kept reaching out to Jeffrey Epstein. I still have to write that article. Dr. Robert Trivers took $40,000 from Jeffrey Epstein and lied to experiment on children as young as 3 years old and pump them of hormones and change and make them transgender. My God. Trivers also said of Epstein's assaults on underage girls, by the time they're 14 or 15, they're grown women, so I don't see the act as so heinous. All right. Okay. But since he has an account of this side, I'm not going to look for that. That is too bad juju. But again, so many people are being exposed. legitimately exposed in these emails, and the legacy media is trying to make us look in the wrong direction. The legacy media is trying to make us look in the wrong direction. That is what's actually happening here before our own eyes. It's like Reid Hoffman. Reid Hoffman tried to come at Elon for calling out his ties to Epstein. Huge mistake. Elon dropped emails showing Reid actually went to the island, brought a gift, and even got name dropped by Epstein to lure Elon in. Elon never went, said no every time. Now, Reid's out there acting mad that anyone noticed, and he was nothing to use against Elon Musk. Again, this is the LinkedIn guy. What else we have here? And he was with this damage control, of course, after the fact again. Yes, interacting with Epstein post-conviction is something I deeply regret. I promise to continue calling for the full release of the Epstein files. The victims deserve justice, and those responsible should be held accountable. Now, it is important to understand who this guy is. It's not just a LinkedIn guy. So you realize the kind of people. This is like archetypical, the archetype of who was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and who Jeffrey Epstein made sure to surround himself with. Discounted trash flow about the LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman, the LinkedIn guy. Overweight tech bro who looks like he hasn't seen a treadmill since the dial-up era. Co-founds LinkedIn, cashes out, now lectures people on political correctness. But his real claim to fame, one of the most frequent passengers on Epstein's Lolita Express. All right. Flight logs show him on the jet dozens of times. Kept flying with Epstein years after the 2008 conviction, when most normal people cut ties. These are not normal people, of course. Claims it was all for philanthropy meetings and MIT donations. Totally innocent reasons to private jet with a child trafficker. Endless I barely knew him denials, but the logs and timing scream otherwise. Fat F looks like a swollen albino seal. Oh my God, checks out. Just in case you need to confirm, this is not the picture of the guy. This what is it? This is the picture of the guy. Just in case you want to confirm that last statement. Confirm? Yes? Okay, we can continue. Dumps hundreds of millions into Democrat war chests to buy political favor. Personally funds anti-Trump lawsuits. All right, the guy is such a personality. Funded Steele dossier ops and Nikki Haley primary sabotage. Screams save democracy while buying judges, primaries, and political influence like a Russian oligarch. Preaches AI ethics and human decency, yet hangs around convicted pedophiles and rigs elections. Just looks like he diddles kids. Oh my God. Looks like a Reddit mod. Oh my God. Miss Black Cat, you always have the Reddit takes. You always have solid takes. I had to highlight this one. On the spot. Looks like a Reddit mod. On point. Absolutely not to be trusted. This is the kind of people who Jeffrey Epstein made sure to hang out with. So you tell me, what kind of people are we talking about here? And this was important. I thought that this was important to mention as well. Just in, Bill Gates' former science advisor asked Jeffrey Epstein for nude photos from his island. All right, science advisor. Okay, what did Bill Gates' science advisor ask for? Please send me few pics of your island, both the island and the house. Include also a picture or two of hot girls. He had some preferences for the pictures of the hot girls on the island, and wink. This is it. Yeah, again, this is the kind of people that we're talking about. This is the kind of people that we're talking about. They could have been really professional about this, but I guess that they were not hanging with Jeffrey Epstein because he was very professional. I think that they were hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein because of reasons. But I would love to know, what do you think about this in the comments? My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the, I don't know which one this one. This can go to the Power Pundit. Much love and bliss.